Hey guys, Hama here, hope you're doing great. Welcome in a race recap video of Long Beach P2 at the end. Make sure you subscribe, you like, please, as always, you leave a comment for me to read. So here we go, race start. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's one of the worst race starts I've done in IndyCar. I'm trying to get to catch up here, but I leave too much of a gap. I get surprised when Kyle accelerates. So yeah, that was not a good start. Trying to get behind Marcus. Palou's on the right hand side. A bit conservative here on the brake, but managing to squeeze past back New Garden, which is on black tires. That was key. Straight away I've decided to kind of look after the tire, not to burn them too quick. Cold tires in IndyCar, so that's always a challenge. The race start, because you have to push, and straight away yellow, so that's the time that we try to kind of work on our tires, save a bit of fuel for later in the race, and you will see why it's important to save fuel whenever you can in IndyCar. That was a tough race in terms of fuel saving. Basically, apart from the first stint, every stint was dominated by fuel numbers and fuel saving later in the race, which is not the nicest one to race, but that's the way we got first and second with the team, so that was awesome. So back into the restart zone starts here, so it's whenever the leader wants to accelerate from that point, and then Kyle goes. A bit conservative here. Again, I didn't want to burn my tires, so I wasn't really trying to attack too much in the beginning. I just wanted to make sure that I could keep New Garden behind me, not take too much risk. You see, I changed straight away my map, so I'm not using my restart map or start map here, just because I know I don't have a chance to pass. So that's a way to save a bit the engine for later, maybe when you need it. Fontaine and right here. I was struggling here on traction all race, I don't know why, and that corner, I hit the wall here last year in qualifying, so I was a bit too careful all weekend long. Bumpy here, struggling a bit with the grip. Not pushing too hard at the beginning. Lift and coast straight away here. Again, saving fuel and looking after those tires. That's the new tarmac. That part was resurfaced and the grip was amazing here, but there was a big bump right here. Yeah, you could hear and you can tell that there was a big bump right there, which is a challenge. Back into turn 9 and 10. A lot of energy going through the tire here. 11. That's a hard corner. It looks easy, but it's actually a very hard corner right there. Back into the main straight. Bumpy main straight. Quite a heavy swing with here. Onto turn 1. Lift and coast. Looking after those tires very nicely. It didn't work out so well. I did have a tire degradation earlier than I wanted to. I was really thinking I would save them a lot to attack later, but it didn't really work the way I wanted it to work. Maybe the conditions, it was much colder than the rest of the weekend, so that's probably why it was a little bit harder to look after the tires. Again, the bump here, big bump. But I'm in good position. I must be 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds back from Marcus. Looking after the tires, big bumpy here and braking. You don't want to go wide here because the drift cars goes on the outside and their rubber is super slippery for us. So have to be very careful. Back at the hairpin, back onto the main straight. Go through those gears nicely. You can tell it's bumpy. So trying to shift at the right point, not to lose time hitting the limiter. And back into turn 1. And turn 5 here. Curb on the inside is not friendly, so don't use it. There we go, back. Onto the new asphalt. Look how smooth it is. Look, the single is barely moving. So now the car starts to feel really alive. thought I'd done enough to look after tires in those first few laps, but we start to have a bit of graining, which is going to be our main degradation here. So if I move a little bit further away, so we're onto the end. Oh, there we go. You can see the left tire starting to have a bit of a problem, and then New Garden coming on new blacks. Well, on black tire, not new blacks, but black tires. I didn't want to take any risk to fighting because I was going to burn my green tires, and I didn't want to do that. So that's why I don't defend any more than I did. You can tell how much space he carries through those corners, and I just can't anymore. So the idea was to follow him through the field because he was going to catch Ericsson and Kyle. So I just wanted to go steady here, follow him, and see where we're going to be, because I felt I was in a better position than Ericsson and Kirkwood on tire, just because of the way I looked after them in the beginning. But yeah, the grip is starting to go a little bit on those tires. We are going to have a full course yellow very soon. Here we go, full course yellow. So the strategy has failed because Joseph hasn't passed any car, and that's where it's gonna get racy, because that's where we're gonna go. We're all gonna go to the pit. We need to put fuel. So everyone's trying to make his gap, trying to find the best solution for him to attack and kind of open a small gap going into the pit lane. Here we go onto the pit lane, and that's going to be a race pit stop. So all the tires are there aligned, and it makes it tricky to enter your box. So here we go. Car goes up in the air, fuel is in there, rear tires are on, car is going. Outside. Tight here, but that's Devlin in different chest because my teammate, so he played well. And then there was a bit of a wobbly from New Garden at the front. But no, we've got Kirkwood on black, New Garden on green, Ericsson on black, myself on blacks. It's all going to be about warming up those tires the best we can. All right, sorry about this. So we're back. So it's all going to be about the tire warm up here. Pit commitment line at the end of the pit lane. So here it's fuel saving, because now we know we pitted 3 laps earlier than we wanted to. So we're going to be tight on fuel, but we also want to warm up the tire nicely. So that's going to be the challenge that we're going to be facing right now with the guys. So here we go, restart. I think that's one of my worst restarts. Look at that. I'm going on throttle and then I almost loses it. So that was a terrible restart. I think I got a bit excited, got too early on throttle and it didn't work out. So Pato is having a look, I believe, behind me. So I'm closing the door. Make sure that it doesn't pass by, late on the brake, so that worked well. On to turn one, we're still on black tires and they're still very cold, so it's kind of tricky at that point of the race. You have to push, but they're also cold tires. Team played a different strategy at the front, so Canapino stayed out. He's on 22 old lap tire. So there's going to be a little bit of a blockage here and a little bit of action going on. Pato dives in the inside, not a problem, he's on black tires. And then here he goes, send it on the inside, almost took Kyle out, almost took Ericsson out. I got contact, I think the front wing did have a... front wing. So yeah, checking on the front left because that was a bit of an impact. And here we go, green lights, push to pass, bit of a bad exit for me there, so I used a bit of push to pass. I think the only bit I used pretty much in the whole day, getting into the main turn one. Now we start to push a little bit more. We're trying to put some pressure on Joseph Newgarden. He's on green tires, so we know he's going to be struggling later. We're on black, so we don't have that problem, but we do have fuel issue. So that's going to be a challenge for us. The car is very loose on black, as you can see here. Changing the front onto all bar on the right. That is Helio Castroneves is a lap down, so it's gonna let me by on exit. Got a little bit closer than I wanted to. Here we go. And then behind me it's Scott McLaughlin on black tires, on green tires, alternate, used to be the reds, following me, so that's why I've been using a little bit of push to pass in the previous lap, just making sure that I can stay ahead of him, because I don't want to fall behind him, just because I know he's going to be struggling with those greens later on the stint. Got good traction. Got good traction here. Fuel 90, so there we go. Starting to have some fuel number to hit. You can hear. Lift up the throttle and just let it go to the braking. Again, it's not the most exciting part of the race, but it was the race that we had in Long Beach. That's the way we could do a good job. So here we go. Still behind New Garden pits. Add 2 more laps of fuel here, but we should have used the push to pass a bit. Yeah, using it now. We changed the strategy. I was supposed to pit 2 laps later, but we didn't want to take the risk to pit the 2 cars together. So I'm gonna pit a lap earlier than I wanted to, which is gonna put me in a bit of a difficult situation for the last stint. But as a team, that was the best strategy. So trying to push, but Kyle's doing the same here. I was struggling a little bit with my balance, with the rear end a bit snappy. Back on the bottom here for a little bit, but I should have used much more of it. But I didn't think we were going to be so stuck with the fuel number later on. So here we go onto the back straight. Box box, confirm. The bumpy part of the circuit here. Turn 10. The hairpin. Pretty good positioning here. Onto the pit lane. That's a key moment. In lap and out lap. So now we're gonna have an open pit, which is gonna make my life easy to stop. Here we go. Fuel in. Tires going in. The fuel oil is a very important part of the pit stop, so right behind the McLaren here. Here is coming in, so now outlap is going to be another really important one, because we're going to be fighting a lot, trying to get the lead, but also trying to keep your garden behind. Alright, that's the blend line you need to hit onto the track. Slippery. The outlap is always hard, and that's why it's very hard to undercut people, because your tires are cold, so there's very little grip initially while the other guy is pushing on track. So. Using a bit of push to pass, but again, should have used a lot more on that lap. Anyway, I wanted to save a lot for the end of the race, but we never got to use it. Onto the bottom here. That's better, keeping a little bit more push to pass on that one. Careful on that braking, that's an easy one to lock and make a mistake. Back into turn 10. First gear, hairpin, missed a bit the turn in, but so good. Well, poor traction, cold tires. On to the push to pass. I think we can see Kyle at the top of our screen down there. You see saying one lap more on tires makes a pretty big difference. So right there, you've got a couple of corners to try to make the gap before his tires are warmed up. But very quickly I realized that I wasn't going to catch him here. So he's too far. No, he's got temperature in his tires. So I'm going to start again to save a bit of fuel, because that's going to be a challenge till the end of the race. Bit loose here. Yeah, we struggle with we struggled with the brakes during the race because of all the lift and coast. They got too cold, and therefore we're doing some interesting behavior. But all in all, worked well. It was just a very challenging, again, traction issue here. A bit loose on the rear end. We would have needed to have a better rear end. So here's the fuel number, and then we start already saving some, because I know it's going to be a challenge for later. Fontaine, that's a tough corner, and that one as well. I was not good all weekend here, just struggling to carry some speed.
Start working this fuel. We need fuel 86 to finish.
And here we go, on to the fuel numbers. So helping a little bit with the map. You can hear already a lot of fuel saving. That's gonna be what we're gonna get to the end of the race. Back marker here. That's a huge challenge when you don't have fuel, because you can't use a push pass. You can be flat on the straight, and there's no blue flags in IndyCar. But Stingray Rob was super nice here. He didn't make my life too hard, so I used a bit of push pass at the beginning of the straight. And yeah, it's gonna stay on the left nicely, which is gonna make my life a lot easier, because I still do have to look at that fuel number. Good thing is that we're not under pressure from behind. And here I did hit the wall at the entry of the Fontaine. I was losing focus a little bit just because of the fall space, so I got myself back together. I got myself back together after that one. Doing so many laps with a false rhythm because of the fuel saving was tough, and you kind of easily lose focus. So that's definitely a challenge. But yeah, you can hear how much we're just not pushing on the throttle.
Look good, that's all we can see.
Look at that. Oh, I should say, listen, so much fuel saving that everyone. Yeah, that was the big struggle of the race. Finally, traction getting better at the hairpin. And we're getting close to the end of the race, just behind Kyle. Using the push to pass. Alright, on to the push to pass. We finally get a bit of fuel to play with. That's the end of the race. But it's just, I think we, as a team, we should have pushed. The 28, we should have pushed a little bit earlier, because I was fuel saving, and then eventually it was like, oh, you're good to go to the end. And I wish I'd had a couple of three laps to use those, fuel a little bit, because it would have allowed me to put back some temperature in the tires. The rears are getting a little bit cold. The car is quite on the nose. Then yellow flag, so slowing down a lot for the yellow. Turn 10, 11, first gear. On to the bottom.
Second flag, hell of a job, let's go P8.
And here we go, saving fuel.
Not bad, but 15 I thought. Yeah, the car today. Fucking good for China. Went to a great deal. Awesome.
That's Tantan talking to me. So yeah, 1 and 2 for the team. Awesome. Great.
Exactly what we talked about. When you
great team efforts.
1, 2 could be a better day. Hell of a job. Proud of you. Proud of all you guys.
Got the points.
That makes a bit of face, but God, it's such a good job. Awesome.
I'm happy, obviously very happy for Kyle. I wish we could have won the race, but very, very happy for Kyle. And we give it a good shot. I think Long Beach was a good result, knowing that we should have won St. Pete. Texas was good, and again Long Beach was great. We've got a strong baseline. And no, I'm really excited about really excited about Barber and see what we can do on road course from now on. But definitely proud of the team and from everything we've been doing. Yeah, I was well here. You know, I like to use the frontal piece for the air. I don't like the one on top of the helmet. I think the one at the front gives me a lot more air. So yeah, that's the driver choice. We can choose which one we want. But for me, that one is the one that works the best. Obviously, I disconnected it on the in-lap, getting ready to jump out of the car. But good team effort, good job, and hopefully a lot more podiums and wins to talk to you about.